Futbol Americas. You missed that one? Missed that one?
No, I expected it from other people. I thought you were a step above that, but
Well,
apparently not.
Don't ever assume I'm a step above anything. Alejandro Moreno, a three-time MLS Cup champion, former Venezuelan national team, your boy Herculez Gomez. Lots to talk about today, but before we get on what we're going to talk about, what are you wearing?
First of all, when you're saying that, do you mean that you like it?
I'm going to be honest. I'll be honest. I didn't know what it was until I saw the Spartans. I'm like, there's no way that's Alejandro Moreno's college jersey.
Absolutely it is. The last time I wore this was 1999. Last century. Last century. And the only reason I'm wearing it, because usually I wear a suit for this show and you keep it eternally casual Friday. And by the way, where's your uniform?
As you can tell, I am hosting today. I had a lot of work. I forgot to put on the jersey that I was going to go put on. That's producer Beto's fault. But
well, in any case, I figure I would make the effort today and wear the UNCG Spartans jersey. And it's appropriate because this weekend, this upcoming weekend, my UNCG Spartans are playing the Southern Conference Tournament Final against the arch rivals of Furman. That's right. So I'm here supporting...
Clint Dempsey's Furman?
Clint Dempsey's
Ricardo
Furman.
Clark's Furman?
Uncle Rico, yes. Rico Clark, yes. Against whom I played in college my senior year. They were younger.
Right.
They were freshmen. I was a senior in college at the time. I'm just saying, I'm supporting my UNCG Spartans, Chris Rich and them boys over there. I'm wishing them very well. I'm hoping that they're able to win this conference tournament. And let me just tell you, because people may not remember this, and why would you? This was 30 years ago. There was a time and a place where I scored a game winner against Furman in a Southern Conference Tournament Final. Go on. Come on, G. Let's go, G. Let's go, G.
It looks good on you, my man. So.
Well, it fits. It fits 30 years later.
We are wishing them luck. We're also wishing luck to Tyler Adams, who's been added to the November camp roster. Tyler Adams and Sean Sadowski of the Columbus Crew, also not here. That adds to a long list of players who aren't going to be here. We're talking about Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Chris Richards, Timothy Weah, Malik Tillman, Anthony Robinson, Alejandro Sendejas, Johnny Cardoso. Tyler Adams already missed, Alejandro, the original October friendlies. Mm-hmm. His wife gave birth to their second child. Mm-hmm. So that's the captain of the 2022 World Cup with a long history of injuries, not in the last camp and not in this camp. How worried should Mauricio Pochettino and the U.S. men's national team be?
So it feels like in every international break, we're having a similar flavor of conversation when it comes to the United States. It feels like this is rinse and repeat, in which the conversations are centered around the players that are not here, the players that are not fit, the players that were not picked, the players that were not chosen. And what troubles me is that whole list that you just mentioned there, most of those players, perhaps not including Johnny Cardoso because he hasn't been great with the national team. In fact, he has been poor with the national team, if we're going to be very honest. But the other players, if you think about it, not only on paper, but practically so, these are not only players for the U.S. national team, they are starters for the United States national team. And so, here's my concern, if I were Mauricio Pochettino. I know, in my mind, although I will tell the press and I will tell people out there that, nobody has a place here. Everybody has to fight for it. Okay, all right. Can we have a serious conversation for once? We know that Christian Pulisic is going to be in this team, just like we know that most of those players that you just mentioned there are also going to be in this team, and they're going to be starters for this team. So in his mind, he has a best 11. I don't think we've seen that best 11 together for any extended period of time. And so every international break, we say, well, we're running out of times. We're running out of dates. We're running out of opportunities to see this group together to develop identity and consistency and all the things that you want to see from a team. And I'm afraid that when these games are played, we'll probably are going to have the same conversation of like, what is the identity of this team? What is it that they're trying to do? What is it that they're trying to develop? And we seem to be going in circles around the same subject. And part of it is the fact that these players haven't been fit and haven't been available for selection or haven't been chosen, and therefore they haven't played together. The next time they get together is in 2026. Remind me, when is the World Cup?
2026.
2026. Okay, so it's about that time to create that consistency and that continuity. We just haven't seen it yet.
As it pertains, and I could not agree with you more, as it pertains to Tyler Adams, this is really troublesome, worrisome, because Mauricio Pochettino has stressed, Ale, the culture talk. How he wants to establish a culture, how he wants to establish that these players should compete and always compete. When I think culture, when I think competitive, when I think like somebody who always wants to compete for the U.S. men's national team, that's the first player that comes to mind is Tyler Adams. He was the youngest player at the 2022 World Cup. He was your leader then. He should be your leader now, even if he doesn't wear the armband. That's the de facto leader for the U.S. men's national team. This is two straight cycles, or not cycles, two straight camps that he's not involved in, that he could be involved in. Now, what I want to get to, what you just mentioned, you said some of those players, Johnny Cardoso, hasn't been a factor with the U.S. men's national team. Well, you would hope he'd be a factor at some point down the road with the U.S. men's national team, and he's not injured anymore. Christian Pulisic, not injured anymore, comes off and plays 20 minutes for Milan this week. Weston McKennie played 90 minutes. Weston McKennie was left because he's got a new coach, and they want him to acclimate with his new coach. Chris Richards, Oliver Glasner, the Crystal Palace manager, complained about the U.S. men's national team and overusing him. Well, he stays and he plays 90 minutes in their game. Sendejas comes on at half, 45 minutes. Malik Tillman comes on at half, 45 minutes. I know we see this in world football right now. Lamine Yamal. What's going on with Spain, what's going on with Barcelona. At some point in time, if I'm Mauricio Pochettino, I want my players in camp, a full squad, because he's not had a full squad in camp. After this, the next camp is late March. And then after that, you've got a brief window in early June before the World Cup kicks off. If you're Mauricio Pochettino, should you be catering to the club teams?
No is the answer. The priority is to have this team ready to play for the World Cup. And as I just mentioned, I am concerned. And that's why I took the position of Mauricio Pochettino initially. I said, okay, wait a minute. My job is to get this team ready to play and to do the things that I want them to do on the field. And I want to make those concepts and those ideas very clear to them so that when we go out on the field and when it's time to execute, they have clarity and they know exactly what their roles are. But the only way that you do that is by being on the field, not only on the playing field, but also on the training ground. And the only way that that happens is with players actually being available for selection, which they are. And so it is, if I were Mauricio Pochettino, it would be my responsibility to make sure that those guys are here. And the international break are designed for that, or is designed for that, for those players to be available for selection and for you to go get those players and say, you're coming over here because I need you. I need you, and I need you, and I need you, and I need you. I want you guys together. I want this team to have unity. I have this team to have togetherness. I want this team to see the thoughts that I have in my mind, see those thoughts, and be able to execute those thoughts. And you are unable to do that if these guys are, one is in Milan, the other was in Turin, the other one is over here.
Then why is he doing it?
Well, I have no idea. I mean, like I said, I took the position of Mauricio Pochettino, and I told you exactly what I would do. I don't understand it. It feels as if like, it'll be in 2026. Wait a minute. You just described what the actual reality is and how many opportunities you have available. I don't know how magically players are then just going to show up and be like, all right, this is a game plan and execute it. It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. And what's troublesome for me is this isn't the first time he's done it. If you recall one of the earlier windows, the U.S. men's national team was going to play against Mexico in Guadalajara, and it's the second game of their FIFA fixture date window, and he decides to let Christian Pulisic go back to Milan. And they lose for the first time in almost 4 or 5 years against Mexico in quite humiliating fashion, and it kind of sets a precedent that the national team is secondary. And then we have the episodes we saw over the summer with Christian Pulisic, Yunus Musa, not being available for the U.S. men's national team. And you start asking yourself, okay, well, where's the priority here then? You're saying there in that moment the priority is the U.S. men's national team, but here we are, and there are players who realistically could be helping you out because I'm on Pochettino's side here. He's never had a full camp with any of these players. He's never had a full camp where he could say, I have 100% of the players available to me. I have what is close to an A squad. Now, with the exception of the now December camp, January camp, next time you see European players, it's going to be March. I can't for the life of me figure out why he wants to let this opportunity go.
Well, I preaching to the choir. You're saying that you understand and Pochettino in that he hasn't had the full squad, but now he's making the choice not to have the full squad.
Yeah.
So that I don't know how much understanding there is. I honestly, this is a choice. This is a choice made by the manager in conversation, I imagine, with the players. This is the same manager that has been talking about the commitment to the national team, that don't take it for granted, that you have to work, that you have to earn it. Okay, well, they should be here in order to earn it, right? Isn't that part of building the culture?
Yeah.
Look, I know that perhaps I'm old school when it comes to this sort of stuff, but how exactly do you build a personal connection from here to Milan, from here to Turin, from here to there, from here to everywhere, except from here to here?
Yeah.
How do you see somebody in the eyes if you're a manager? How do you see how they react to you, to what you're talking about, to your ideas, to your thoughts, to your structure, to your plan, to your scheme, to what you want them to do? How do you know how they're going to react from afar? You need to see it here.
Yeah.
I need to see how this player gets along with that player. I need to see if that guy can look at me in the eye. I need to see whether those players respect this guy. I need to see it. And that only happens up close and personal. I know dating has changed nowadays. I know now we just swipe right and left and all these things. Not me. I'm definitely not in that world. But I'm just telling you, a personal connection has to be priority number one when it comes to building a team.
Well, there are a lot of absentees, but do you know who might get a personal connection with Mauricio Pochettino?
Who's that?
Giovanni Reina.
What? Gio!
Now, Giovanni Reina, Joe Scally, back in the group. Obviously, lots of players missing here. That opens the door for Giovanni Reina, who at Gladbach had not been playing too much, and it had not been going very well, both in the personal and collective. Giovanni Reina back with Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino stressed special player at least 5 times when talking about Giovanni Reina. And they asked him if he was contradicting his previous message of you need to be playing, you need to be doing well to get called in. What are your thoughts on this?
Can I make it a 6-time special player? When he's at his best. When was he at his best? I mean, when was the last time that we saw Gio Reyna and went, man, this guy is something?
Final versus Canada.
I hold hope. And even though, look, you have an emotional attachment to the United States men's national team. I, on the other hand, look at it from a very sort of objective perspective. And I'm looking at it from the outside. I'm thinking, this team would be significantly better in the attack if Gio Reyna were playing at his best. Because I think that Gio Reyna at his best has qualities about him that you cannot teach. There is an arrogance to his game when he is at his best, and a confidence that makes everybody else around him far more confident and better. And the reason that I say that is because he, at his best, attracts attention, and now Christian Pulisic is not attracting the same sort of attention. Now not everybody's paying attention to Pulisic because somebody's got to pay attention to Gio Reyna. And there is a dual threat there when Gio Reyna is on the field at his best. I keep saying and qualifying the comment at his best because it hasn't happened. It feels like this is sort of like, for this World Cup cycle anyways, it feels like this is sort of last chance, big chance for him to make a statement, for him to elevate his profile in the eyes of Mauricio Pochettino. Because we can say that he's a special player, but we need to see it.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen it for a while.
We've been on different teams throughout our careers, and there's always special players who get the benefit of the doubt. Gio's going to get the benefit of the doubt here for being that type of special player, but it really is last chance. If he can't make his mark right now with Pochettino, very difficult to think that he's going to be on that call-up sheet come late March and then in early June. Somebody who will be looking to attract attention is Gio Reyna here. Somebody who already got the attention of the European world is Mauricio Pochettino, as he spoke to the BBC about, guess what? how much he misses the Premier League.
Okay.
Poch says, the Premier League is the best league in the world. Of course I am missing it. I am so happy in America, but also thinking one day to come back to the Premier League, it's the most competitive league. But that's not the only thing he said, Ali, believe it or not.
Yeah.
He also spoke on, well, what motivates an American player and the culture. He says, the motivation is massive. Sometimes you feel that people don't understand too much.
Oh boy.
You find some coaches that say, oh, you need to know the culture of the American player. I say no. I know the most important thing, the culture of football and soccer. We need to translate the culture of football to the American player. I think after 1 year, we are making great progress. Okay. Lots to dissect here. Oh, man. I want to be as gentle as I can with how I say this.
Don't be gentle.
I've lived in the States my whole life, and I've played club soccer my whole life, grassroots my whole life, and I can't tell you how many times I've come across somebody from a different country that says, I'm going to show you stupid Americans how to play. You know, it just already has that air about them. And trust me, there are a lot of problems in the country when it comes to football, and coaching is one of them. But this, to me, just seems, and I'll start with the second quote. Like, you stupid Americans, when it comes to the game, there's so much to learn.
Oh, you know, I wanna try to put myself in his shoes. Those are some expensive shoes too.
Yes, they are.
Yes, those are some well-paid shoes, comfortable.
Some
shoes.
nice loafers.
Yeah, very nice. And so I'm gonna try to kind of get in his head, put myself in his shoes, and try to figure out what is it that he's trying to say here. I think it has to do with what he considers what soccer, football should be because of his upbringing, because of where he comes from, because of his experiences in Argentina and then in Spain and then in England. And he sort of put all of that together in one beautiful package. And then he says, this is what it should be. And while he may not be wrong in the sense that perhaps that's what this country strives to be in that sort of conversation and that sort of level where the United States can look at Spain, can look at England, can look at Argentina eye to eye and be like, yeah, we are at the same level. And that's, I think, where this country wants to be at that level of competition, which I think we can all agree, not quite there yet. If indeed that's a point that you want to make, then say that.
Right.
Say that. But when you try to get too cute and too smart and too like philosophical, it comes across as the way that you just mentioned. As if like, listen, I'm the owner of the truth. I know the culture. I know football. I know soccer. I know. You guys don't know. I'm teaching you. So sit there and listen. And I think there has to be a give and take in which the players are willing to listen, in which the media may be willing to listen, even though it's not the job of the media to listen to the manager, whatever it is that he feels like he is preaching on the day. But there's also has to be an openness from Mauricio Pochettino in understanding the surroundings and the challenges of what is a very difficult landscape to navigate, which is U.S. soccer in general.
Not quite at the bar. And as a former player, like to think that the American player can't compete, like tell me he's not good enough.
Right.
Tell me tactically he's deficient. Tell me technically there are things that he still hasn't mastered, but that he can't compete. That to me is pretty damning. The first part of the quote, Ali. I know he misses the Premier League.
Right.
We know he misses the Premier League. Every chance he gets, regardless of where he's being interviewed, he talks about his love for Tottenham Hotspur, for the Premier League. Talk to me about his constant affirmation of how much he misses the best league in the world. Because if I'm U.S. soccer, I'm like, that's great, but stop saying you miss the Premier League while you're with us.
Right. So I'll put it to you this way, Herculez. No, I don't mean to step on your toes and your relationship, but let's just say for a second or two.
Where's this going?
Yeah, and let's just say for a second
Where's
or
this
two,
going?
you know, Do you think your wife would be okay with you talking to your ex-girlfriend?
No.
I
don't have ex-girlfriends.
Yeah, the woman of the past.
No.
Would she enjoy that?
Oh no, of course
No.
not. Of course not. No.
But this is what Pochettino is doing.
What about those who say, well, he's just telling the truth?
What's that? That he's talking to his girlfriend? Yes, but it's an unnecessary truth because we know this. We know this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, the Premier League is the best league in the world, according to Mauricio Pochettino. Okay. And what does that have to do with coaching the United States men's national team, which is the priority? There is a World Cup happening in this country next year, in a matter of months now. In a matter of months. And you're talking about the potential of going back to the Premier League. When you're having this conversation, whether that's the BBC or wherever else you're having this conversation, your focus should be on putting your national team, in this case, the United States national team, at the forefront of every conversation. The World Cup at the forefront of every conversation. And if indeed they ask you about the potential of going back to the Premier League, it's like, well, it's something that I'll think about in the future, but as of right now, my priority is the United States. And that's what I think he loses sight of is, one, everybody has access to this conversation.
Correct.
It's not like he's talking a 1v1 and that's going nowhere.
It's happened to him quite a bit.
Yes, which I cannot understand how he doesn't realize that these conversations are going to get out, and they don't make him look good. It makes him look dismissive as it pertains to the national team, and especially to a country that has some insecurities about them. The United States, and I think we can agree on this, and let's admit it, there are some insecurities about this team and about soccer in this country, and there's a chip on the shoulder, and every little comment can be taken in a way in which it becomes a negative connotation. And if he would be able, and this goes back to the second quote, if he would be able to understand the soccer culture in this country, he would know that that's a problem. And you don't need to fuel that. You don't need to feed into that. And the other thing I would say, it's something that I think he's ignoring altogether. If he is to have a great World Cup with the United States, all these opportunities that he's talking about are going to be there available for him.
Yeah.
They're all going to be in front of him. But the first priority is to have a great World Cup with the United States.
A few things stick out here, Ali. The first is, this doesn't sound like a guy who's planning to stick around after the World Cup.
Correct.
It seems like, deuces, I'm out. And second, when he first came to the U.S. men's national team, because they were paying him very handsomely, $6 million a year, when he first comes here, the first comments are, we can win the World Cup.
Right.
We're striving for the World Cup.
Okay.
And now every interview that I hear from him, whether it's Chiringuito or BBC, he distances himself from the we can get there, we can make a run, to now like, hey, culture needs to work, or the American player is not this here, or...
Can I just say that he was wrong on both? He's wrong in saying that this team can win the World Cup. So that is not a realistic goal right now.
No.
So I don't think you walk into the room and say, first thing, we can win the World Cup. Okay, that's nonsense, right? That in itself is nonsense. But then you don't go on the other side of it, at the lower end of it, and say, well, we're gonna give it our best, guys, and we'll see what happens.
It's the bar, Ali, because the smartest thing I think he ever said, and the most truthful thing I think he ever said, is at one point he said, we can be a Morocco. We can be a South Korea.
Yeah.
We can be one of these countries that makes a deep run and is uncomfortable, makes the country proud. Relegation zone, 33 points. Oh, teeter-tottering that, second division status right there. Not looking good for Neymar Jr. or Santos in the return for the Brazilian starlet.
Is this the same Neymar that you wanted Carlo Ancelotti to put with the Brazilian national team that you were passionate about?
I was. Now, I don't know if you saw this game, but there were moments in this game where Neymar was fighting with his teammates. He was so fed up with the defensive line, the center backs, playing long route one balls off the goal kicks. He goes down to the 6 himself and restarts a goal kick, only to see a center back launch the ball. They get into it. He comes off, he's booed. It's not going well. There are reports. Okay, let's bring this back here, the CONCACAF. Let's bring it back to Major League Soccer. There are reports that link Neymar Jr. To a return with Lionel Messi at Inter Miami. There are also reports that link Neymar Jr. to Major League Soccer teams, per our friends in Brazil, ESPN Brazil, where these Major League Soccer teams are now skeptical about signing Neymar Jr. and one, like Chicago, want nothing to do with him, who was a target of his in Major League Soccer some time ago. Let's start with Inter Miami. If you're Messi and friends, do you do it?
Well, I wouldn't do it, period. And the reason I wouldn't do it, period, is because I have seen enough. And there is no evidence that we're going to get anywhere near what Neymar used to be as a player. That seems to have gone, and there is no evidence that's coming back. And so then you have to ask yourself a question. If you're any team in Major League Soccer, even if that's Inter Miami, even if that's Messi and friends, even if Messi says, hey, I want Neymar here, what you have to present in terms of a case, if you're sitting in a boardroom with the rest of the front office of any of these clubs, you got to say to yourself, okay, wait a minute. So on this hand, I got the possibility that perhaps, maybe, he's going to be lights out, and he's going to be a consistent performer, and he's going to be the guy that we think he can be, and he's going to have moments of brilliance that are going to elevate the profile of our club. That's on this hand, right? On the other hand, you have what I think is a more likely scenario, which is this is going to be a headache, things are going to get derailed, he's going to have a flash of brilliance here and a flash of brilliance over there, but in between, it's going to be a whole lot of headaches. It's going to be a whole lot of problems. It's going to be a whole lot of derailment. It's going to be a whole lot of, oh my goodness, what are we going to do with Neymar? And it's going to create more problems than he's worth. Now, I said this is a good Neymar, and this is the real Neymar, right? And you have these possibilities. If you told me this was 50-50, I would take the chance. If you told me it was a coin toss, I would take it.
You don't even believe it's 50-50?
No. I think it's 80-20. I think it's 90-10. I think the evidence stacked against Neymar is so overwhelming and so powerful that it's not even close to 50-50. If I were a Major League Soccer team and I were part of that front office, I would say, please walk away from the glitter and the glam. This shiny toy is not new. There's a whole lot of rust behind that polish.
I understand exactly what you're saying. It's very hard to ignore the numbers. 3 goals, 0 assists right now in Brazil. A player who since January this year has already been injured 5 different times. You don't really know what you're getting. You're rolling the dice. I understand that. But Ali, if I'm Major League Soccer, I want to roll the dice. I want to roll the dice, Ali.
No, if you're Major League Soccer, but
this is what I want to get to.
Yeah.
Major League Soccer, because think about this, Ali. Who is the nemesis right now to Messi? When Zlatan was here, when at the height of Major League Soccer's popularity in terms of attraction with ESPN, with Fox, with TUDN, with the BBC all around the world, who was Zlatan's nemesis? It was
Natum?
No. It was Carlos Vela.
Oh, I thought
it was Carlos. He had somebody to rival him, and that was some of the best TV that Major League Soccer's ever had. It's Zlatan telling the camera, I am better than Vela. I want to beat Vela. Neymar does what he wants.
Which he is, by the way.
But he didn't beat him that year.
Okay.
And it was Carlos Vela who beat him that year.
Right.
And it forced Carlos Vela to elevate his game. What I'm trying to say is nobody rivals Messi. And I'm not saying that anybody will rival Messi, but the narrative. Could you imagine, Ale, if he went to Orlando City? If Neymar, in a heavily populated Brazilian city like Orlando, was there, and they rolled the dice, and he was more than 50 of that, 50-50 that you're talking about. Could you imagine what it would be like for Major League Soccer?
Yeah. That's the problem. That's a slippery slope because you're believing that this is possible.
No, I'm believing that it's worth taking a chance on if you're Major League Soccer.
I am saying that case that you're making, that may seem to make a whole lot of sense, and some people will probably get behind it. That is the same reasoning that is going to get people in trouble, because they're going to believe we are the ones that are going to get the best out of this guy. We are the ones that can create an environment for him, and we're going to make it comfortable for him, and we're going to do everything that we can in order for him to be the player that we think he can be. And it's a huge mistake.
Okay, before I move on, I'll leave you with this last question.
No, hold on. Before you ask me your last question, let me ask you my last question.
Sure.
You had the money,
yes.
right? You are in a position
yes.
where you're in a decision-making position in a club in Major League Soccer. And you have the option of Neymar with all of that we have talked about, right? And for the same money, you can get 2 or 3 players that are not nearly as popular as Neymar, but will give you a better chance to win a title. What decision do you make?
Major League Soccer, I don't.
No. If you're running a team.
Yes, if I'm running a team, I don't take the chance. But I think if you're Major League Soccer, you hope somebody does. And because the payoff would be so great, because the attention would be so grand. I firmly believe that 50-50 you're talking about, think about if he's physically fit, healthy, scoring goals and rivaling Messi. And I'll leave you with this. Is there a scenario where he goes and plays in Major League Soccer, okay, next season, and he's scoring goals with the attention that Messi has, that Carlo Ancelotti says, nah, we're good?
Nope. I just don't see it, Herc.
You think Carlo Ancelotti leaves him off if he's scoring goals in the Major League Soccer team, rivaling Messi?
I think if Carlo Ancelotti is watching Neymar play right now, I don't think he's even in the radar right now. He's got to get on the radar.
He's not right now, but with scoring goals in Major League Soccer, put him on that radar is what I'm asking.
But Herc, when we had this discussion about Carlo Ancelotti including Neymar in the Brazilian squad, this was months ago.
Yeah.
And you were telling me, come on, Neymar is a guy. Neymar. Here we go, Neymar. Oh, Neymar.
I'm telling you, given the player pool.
Yeah, but hold on, wait. But that's what you were telling me. This conversation was months ago.
Correct.
Months ago.
Correct.
And we're months ahead now. We're months forward. Time has gone by. And has the situation gotten better? No, it's actually gotten worse.
But you would agree that it's more difficult in Brazil than it is in Major League Soccer. So maybe a step down from in Major League Soccer would do him good.
Look, I just told you 80-20, 90-10, I wouldn't touch him. You think you think any of your questions are going to change my mind right now?
All right.
No.
All right. Well, if he was in Major League Soccer, you're playing against Messi. And you know who Messi did last night? Did this weekend, I should say?
I don't know. Tell me about the FC show that is coming up.
You would see it on FC if you knew. Available daily on ESPN Plus.
Okay.
All right. Messi was playing on display with his bodyguard right there.
I know full well what he did.
You know what you don't want to do? You don't want to give the ball up to Messi in transition. And then Messi just turns him, and it's an excellent finish. Joe Willis has no chance, puts it away.
Yeah, and once he goes on this run and you don't get the first tackle in, and he turns you around and he starts going in and out, and finally back to his left foot, there's only one end result, and that's a goal. Oh,
how about this play right? Nice little layup right there from new signee from Newell's Old Boys, leaves Messi alone, and he's not going to miss it. What about Walker Zimmerman on this one? Ale tries to make a play at the ball, just leaves it to...
You want me to tell you where Walker Zimmerman went to school?
Where did he go to school?
That would be Furman!
Ay, Dios mío. How about
Let's go, G, baby. Let's go, G.
Jordi Alba to Allende. I mean, it was over once the give and go was done by Messi and Jordi Alba. Like, what are you going to do there?
Well, it's... they make it, when they're playing well and they are in full rhythm, they make it look so easy. Oh, beautiful. That is so gorgeous.
Yeah, that was. And it's beautifully put away, but the space and time that he has to operate, Messi has.
You think that's too much?
Too much.
Well, what about the finish? Yeah. Talk to me about the finish. Oh, man, you.
All right, what about this? Post-game, Luis Suarez, and he does a little waving goodbye to Andy Najar and Nashville SC. If you recall, he was suspended.
Because he gave him a donkey kick to a sensitive area?
That was a donkey kick to a sensitive area.
So Luis Suarez is waving goddbye to poor Andy Najar that got kicked.
He's waving goodbye to poor Andy. What do you think? You okay with this?
No, but then again, what else are you... Luis Suarez should be embarrassed that he wasn't available to play in this game, that he was suspended for something as silly as what he did. And he should be thankful that his team was good enough to dominate and win the game, and that the team wasn't eliminated, because otherwise it would have been on him to some degree. So instead of taking it in and say, hey, my bad, guys, thank you, appreciate it, let's go win this thing, he's now waving goodbye to Andy Najar. And what is Andy Najar in Luis Suarez'
Is not
career
relevant
or
to this,
life?
yes.
And somehow he's made it a personal thing where Andy Najar did nothing.
Yeah.
He got kicked in this area.
Well, listen,
Lord.
just because he's one of the best players of his generation doesn't excuse him from probably being the dirtiest player, one of the dirtiest players in the history of the game, and now this right here.
I love me some Luis Suarez.
Well, he's a great player.
Some of this stuff.
They took care of business. Messi and friends took care of business. Now Messi and his bodyguard in Argentina are on their way to Angola for a game that they will have there. Their next game's going to be the 23rd of November, 15 days later from this game. And Ale, if we go take a look at Los Angeles FC, LAFC is the hottest team in Major League Soccer. Like, they want to keep playing right now every 3 days, keep the playoffs going. They took care of business against Austin FC in 2 games. They're going to go plus 20 days without a competitive game. This playoff structure is insane.
Yeah. It's unacceptable. It's like you're playing a different season altogether. And never mind the momentum of the playoffs. If the playoffs tend to be the showpiece events of not just MLS, but American sports in general. And you build momentum through the playoffs because you are then building a story, a storyline, narrative, rhetoric. It's all building up. It's all a crescendo that leads to MLS Cup. You build up momentum and then you stop. And there is no talk of MLS or Major League Soccer playoff, or none of that is going on while the international break is happening. And to your point, some of the best teams in this league are going to be punished by the fact that they have been as good as they have been. So in this case, LAFC, they're actually punished by being able to advance quicker than everybody else. How is that fair?
Yeah.
How does that create an environment in which the best team actually wins this thing? And I know the sports in general are not fair, and that sometimes things happen in the playoffs and the best team doesn't always win. But you gotta give the best opportunity available to the teams that deserve it. And the playoffs just do not allow that to happen in terms of the structure, and never mind the coverage of the playoffs, because how do you as a league build momentum and then stop right in the middle of the playoff? What other league in this country would do that?
No league.
And who in the right mind would accept that? Imagine we just had the playoffs in baseball.
Yeah.
And you could feel the story building up around the Dodgers and Toronto Blue Jays, and here comes the World Series, and now what we're going to do, we're going to take 2.5 weeks off.
That would never happen. It would never happen.
About Pochettino not understanding the landscape of soccer in this country. This is an example that in the showpiece event, in the moment in which you define a season, you're stopping play. That is unacceptable.
Yeah, there's so much to get into when it comes to this actual postseason and the format. It's not just about the calendar, because I would argue that's Major League Soccer's fault. You fix your calendar, align yourself with the FIFA fixtures, and you won't have this happen. But the best of 3 series.
Oh, well, that's a different
No, and what I
conversation.
think about is I want to see Messi at his best. I want to see Messi go all the way. I don't want to see Messi play Nashville for the 5th time in a row?
Yeah.
You know, with another game under his belt, and then he's got to go on a national team, and who knows what can happen, and what if he gets injured? Now that's it. Now nobody has any reason to watch Inter Miami if Messi's injured. It just seems
Actually, you can make the argument that nobody has a reason to watch MLS if Messi's injured. It's not my saying.
No, but you're right. A game against Nashville, and I believe they asked, what will you be watching? Will you be watching them play Inter Miami? And it was Mike Wilbon who says, no part of my 3 TV screens will be watching Inter Miami play. People aren't going to pay attention if they know, well, I got another 2 games to pay attention. I'll go with what's on right here. You know, they need to make it relevant within their own country, and things like this don't make it relevant.
Well, no. I'm going to repeat what I just said, just for clarity, and the only purpose is to make sure that we emphasize this point. You're stopping play in the middle of your defining moment of the season. That does not make any sense.
All right. Well, I mentioned that Messi left with the Argentine national team.
Boy.
Bodyguard on hand. They didn't go straight to Angola. You know, they made a pit stop.
Yeah, in Barcelona, right?
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Do you know where?
The Camp Nou.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Camp Nou.
Yeah.
And Messi was seen taking a picture in what was once his home.
All right.
And it caused quite a stir. It says, last night I returned to a place. Oh, you're going to have to forgive me because I cannot read that, producer.
Well, get up, and
Let's see.
actually read it, buddy.
Last night, I returned to a place I miss with my soul, a place where I was immensely happy, where you guys made me feel 1,000 times the happiest person in the world. I hope one day I can come back, and not just to say goodbye as a player, as I never got to.
Right?
The tea is hot. It is spicy. Okay, Alejandro Moreno. You cover La Liga a lot. You know Messi's story, how he left Barcelona. Is this something, nothing, or everything?
Oh, it's something. Oh, it's something. It's something because he usually doesn't do this sort of stuff and doesn't post this sort of messages. And certainly within posting that message, he could have stopped it at, I went back to a place that I love and I was beloved and then on the relationship with the fans. He could have stopped it there. But then he took it a step further. And that's usually not Lionel Messi. He took it a step further and said, I never got to say goodbye in the manner that I wanted to say goodbye. And honestly, the way that he deserved to say goodbye.
Of course.
He was ushered out the back door. That is not the way that Lionel Messi should have said goodbye. And it's a shot. It's a shot at whoever is listening. It's a shot.
Can we put a name to it?
Well, and while he is in the stadium, that, mind you, still hasn't opened yet.
It's being built.
The bureaucracy and the red tape in Spain is something special. And the lack of planning for Barcelona is something special. And I think that in itself explains some of the challenges for Lionel Messi late in his career with Barcelona. This club is being run, or has been run, like a Sunday league team, and is a multi-billion-dollar brand.
Yeah. John Laporta was the president at the time that Messi was ushered out. He used Messi in his political campaign to gain presidency and then stabbed Messi in the back. Let's call a spade for a spade. Yeah. Stabbed Messi in the back and ushered him out. Yeah. So Messi's never going to work with Barcelona as long as John Laporta's there. He says, I hope to come back not only as a player. One could be led to believe, though, I've been affirmed that's not the case, that maybe there's some political agenda with Messi and this picture. And others can just think like, well, Messi wants his send-off game. Where are you in this campaign?
I really don't think that Lionel Messi says what he says in this particular message without allowing us and forcing us and encouraging us to read between the lines. There is something more to this. And as I said before, it's not typical of Lionel Messi to get involved and to say these things or to actually have this sort of messaging. There is more to this story. There's certainly more to it than we know and more than what we can have access to. And I think eventually this is just a setup by Lionel Messi to then kind of bring the hammer down whenever the time is right for him. But you know the great thing about Lionel Messi and his situation? He can do this whenever he wants to, whenever he chooses, whatever he thinks is best in terms of the timing. He's gonna make public whatever it is that he wants to make public, and I think we can all agree that Lionel Messi, deserves more than just having the press conference and exit stage right.
Yeah.
There's got to be more.
There's a lot more, Ali. I'm 100% with you. A very, I guess, humorous part of this story is it wasn't like he called Barcelona to schedule this. He shows up to the stadium, and it's the people in the stadium, security people, which is a different company, that actually, there are a bunch of conflicting reports. One that they notified Barcelona, and then they allowed the stadium to be open. Another that they just let him in and Rodrigo de Paul took his picture. His bodyguard took that picture, which he posted.
Hold on. Imagine Lionel Messi showing up to the Camp Nou and security saying, nah. Who would be that person, that security guard that would say, no, you're not allowed?
Well, do you believe Joan Laporta would be that petty to if he was notified?
Look, all I'm saying is Lionel Messi doesn't need an ID to get into the Camp Nou.
No, he doesn't need an ID to get in the Camp Nou.
We don't need an ID to get into this building, but Lionel Messi, if Lionel Messi showed up in this building, let him in.
Yeah.
Let him in.
Well,
put a sticker that says he's a guest, but let him in.
He's going to need a key, I'll tell you when. In their next game in Major League Soccer, MLS Cup playoffs against MC Cincinnati, because they are rolling.
Yeah, no, of course Columbus. I did because, my Columbus crew were involved. So.
Oh, that's right. It is your Columbus crew.
Yeah, don't you worry about it.
Well,
okay.
There's an early chance. Jason Russell Rowe, he's going to score in this transition. It's a good finish, Alex.
It's a good finish indeed. Absolutely it is. And at this point, you're thinking Columbus are well on their way, and they will be well on their way up until...
Oh, no. Evander on the corner kick. Brenner in the air. Oh.
It's optional defending at the back post.
Weak side, I would say. Very weak.
Optional defending at the back post.
No.
Bruh.
He's going to get a second bite at this as well. Da Silva, Brenner right here. And Patrick Schulte just can't reach it. 87th minute. Cincy up in front.
There's just not enough pressure on the ball. He creates space for himself, finds that far post. My former teammate, Pat Noonan as well, head coach of FC Cincinnati. Wilfred Nancy, rumored to be leaving.
Celtic. That's right. Let's go out west. San Diego, who sells out again. Looking to face Portland in the second game at home. And, well, Pellegrino. Dreyer. This is Andres Dreyer. What a season for the Danish.
It's a really good finish, and you were looking for Pellegrino. He's going to score eventually.
He's right here.
It's a good save to begin with, but he follows up, tap in from my kind of range. Amal Pellegrino, 2-0.
Oh, follows up his own shot. I mean, he's just a big boy, big body. He finds himself constantly in great positions and then gets bodied there, but he'll take it.
But this volley from Amal Pellegrino. Huh?
That's just making contact. He makes such good contact right here, Ali. It's so difficult, the timing, and
dig it out, baby. Dig it out.
Well, and if you were looking for Chucky Lozano, he was on the bench. He comes on, and he's going to find Andres Dreyer.
Okay. How's Chucky Lozano doing these days?
Well, he got an assist.
All right.
Not so well.
Okay.
He wishes he was playing more.
All right.
He's going to get his chance in the next round of the MLS Cup playoffs. Oh, no. Oh, this one's going to be. Now, this is a good ball right here. And Rusnak off the Musovski little layoff. What an excellent finish from Rusnak right here.
So it was a really good start of the game for the Seattle Sounders.
They did really well to start off. I mentioned Danny Musovski. He had himself an assist.
About that defending.
He's going to get himself a gift. Oh, Dios mío.
Swing and a miss.
No, it's just as bad as it gets. But there will be some redemption for... What a golazo.
Yeah, Joaquin Pereira hits it so well. Stephen Fry just can't get there, works his way across, but it's beautifully taken. And everything was great for Seattle, including the fact that, is there a red card coming?
There will be right there.
Yeah.
Rosales. There's no need for this. You know they're going to call it.
You're up a man, you're up a goal, you're Seattle, things are going to work out, yeah? Huh? Are they going to work out, Herculez?
Yeah, they're going to work out.
No, they're not.
I didn't say for who they're going to work out, but they're going to work out. Diaz off the redirect puts it in.
Yeah, Jefferson Diaz. Just not enough pressure on the cross, not enough pressure on the first glancing header, and certainly not enough pressure at the back post. All right, but 2-2, you still think Seattle a man up.
Well, are you putting this one on Fry? Markinich is a good ball in. Fry comes out. It's a lot of whip on that.
I know, but he is wide open at the back post.
He is.
Huh. Okay, but Seattle's gonna come back, right?
Of course they are. And who else? Jordan Morris.
All right, so you're thinking maybe 3-3 going into extra time. You're a man up. You'll take advantage of that, either Seattle. Okay, maybe not.
We're
going to penalties.
We are going into penalties. And it's Dane St. Clair, just eases it in.
Oh boy.
Andrew Thomas, who broke his thumb or his finger in the very first penalty kick, he's gonna step up with a chance to tie the game. And for the second straight match in Minnesota, Seattle falls in penalty kicks.
He took it exactly like I would expect a goalkeeper to take a penalty, to be honest with you. Hey, how about you're not going to say Obed Vargas missed a penalty?
He did. Obed Vargas missed a penalty kick.
That could have won it?
That could have won it. It was the game winner.
All right.
They
I thought we were Futbol Americas. I thought we were Futbol Americas.
Now in the West, we have San Diego versus Minnesota, LAFC versus Vancouver. What a matchup that is. And in the East Coast, Philly versus NYCFC. Good little rivalry brewing there.